Holy moly, it's the Equity.Guru Investor Roundtable, and it's time for Graphene Manufacturing. Some call it graphene, others call it graphene. But since he's Australian, Chris Perry's going to tell us about Graphene Manufacturing first, because this is a Queensland, Australia-based company under Craig Nickel, the CEO, and it's traded, however, in Canada on the TSX Venture Exchange under GMG. So, Uncle Chris, where does graphene come from?
Actually, in Australia, we call it graphene. Just
Call
to
it
be
what?
clear, graphene.
Graphene?
There's an accent on the E.
We do no such thing. Look, graphene is something that has been pointed to as being a wonder element for some time. It's a couple of years ago, everyone was graphene crazy, right? We were looking at graphite mines, trying to find the highest quality graphite mines so they could create graphene out of the high quality graphite. And the deal with graphene was, for its strength, was far stronger than just about anything else that you were going to manufacture things out of. You could make a tank out of graphene. The problem would be that if it got hit by a missile, it would bounce across 3 city blocks. It wouldn't necessarily protect the people inside. It instead would just shake them to death. So it's been one of those things where if you could put graphene on the hull of a boat, it would slide through the water better. If you could build a building out of it, it would be stronger. But in order to get it, you've got to dig so much damn graphene out of the ground, get so much high quality stuff that it wasn't really likely to be something that was financially viable. What's interesting about Graphene Manufacturing Group is the way that they're saying that they're going to create the graphene is a very different thing. It comes from a very different place. And if the studies that they've got, if the patents that they've got, the products that they've got ring true, they've just taken over the graphene industry.
Yeah, because as you pointed out, this used to be mined heavily, and now they're coming up with another way of creating the same product.
So I'll just show you guys. This is their process here. You know, you mine it or you use natural gas, and they have a patent, obviously, that's protected. They don't get too much in detail, but you get natural gas, and then you get hydrogen and graphene powder out of natural gas using their tech. And this is the type of graphene you get. It looks like a bright black there, if I can call it a bright black. It looks more lively compared to the natural graphene there, but you know, high quality and low cost. That's a big advantage. One thing I'll just bring up here quickly. You know, they mentioned natural gas, and I think we've all been following the news lately on natural gas. So I just wonder if the cost input is still low with natural gas now. Well, it was above $6. Now it's around 5 something. So that's just one thing I'll just add.
TK, what else about these guys if you analyze the graphene process?
So majority of what they do is in the energy and energy savings and energy storage. So they focus mainly on, for example, in the energy storage space is lithium batteries. And that's where most of the main production does go to for graphene. And that's a key selling point right now, especially where the market is going. The only thing that could be a factor for the business is its ability to control its cost going forward, especially with what Vishal just talked about, with the natural gas prices going forward. But if you take a quick look at their income statement or where the majority of the cost goes, so far it's been mainly to employee expenses. So it's just, you know, sales, salaries, etc., and overhead. So traveling costs, and other insurance, IT, and stuff like that. The big cost that for most manufacturing companies is the plant and property and equipment. But per each year, their percentage of property, plant, and equipment expenses is lower than most manufacturing companies because of the efficient way that they produce their final graphene product. And that's probably the key selling point that they have right now with their manufacturing process. But the question I think most investors kind of have is, how viable is that if your input costs are increasing and you're not presenting any hedging strategies to kind of circumvent that in the near term?
I'm going to do the graphene bounce right back to Chart Boy and see what
Okay,
the chart
sounds
attack.
good, Rob. But graphene, it's definitely a hot stock. Look at the close today, up 11.93% on the day, 321,386 shares traded with an average volume that's usually 198,264. And take a look at this year to date. The stock is up 628%, 628.39% to be exact, but that's quite the hefty move. Market cap, I will mention, it is 150 million. So keep that in mind for a company that I don't think has a product there. So well, it's a growth play, obviously, with the technology and the clean energy. Chart wise, there's the big rise. We hit highs around $4 exactly back in May. We sold off, and I think we're basically forming what I like to call a triangle pattern here. We can combine the lows here, and I've just connected the previous high with the recent highs, and we are probably going to test that level, which, funnily enough, comes to around $2.50. But I think if you break above this triangle, hey, you might have another run up to 380 and to $4, and maybe it's because of the whole clean energy play, right? That is getting very popular, of course. A lot of investors are looking at the next clean energy resource and investing for green infrastructure. A lot of momentum, again, stock is still up quite high. It's traded quite a lot. I mean, the volume is pretty good as well, and there could be a triangle break forthcoming here as well.
Chris, are you doing anything with my money with the GMG?
Yeah, man. So these guys just raised a little bit of money last month at $2.14 a share. I like that as a place to raise money because it's not a discount to the market at all. Clearly, people they found $1 million to throw into the kitty, and it wasn't cheap money. The trading volume on this has been pretty consistent all year. It doesn't seem to get beneath $2 very easily before it gets snapped up. What I really like about it is I'm a big guy on differentiators, right? If you tell me that an industry is a so many $1 billion industry and maybe you can get 1% of it, I don't give a rat's. If you tell me that there's an industry out there and it's problematic and only you have the solution to that problem, then you're worth every cent of the 100 million, 150 million market cap. And I don't care if you're making revenue now or not, because somebody will look at this product and will take it out for a premium at some point in the near future, if indeed it does what they say it does. If I look at Nano One Materials, was a company that we had a lot of dealings with for quite a few years, and that company just kept on growing. Similar sort of deal, similar space. They had technology to basically remove cobalt from the battery process. So, in the same way that these guys, excuse me, are creating a different kind of energy storage battery, so too with Nano One. Nano One, for 2-3 years, it just kept climbing because they kept announcing partnerships with big companies. And I think GMG is going to follow a similar sort of path. So I don't even have to really hypothesize as to whether I'd invest in this. We invested in it when it was but a glint in its father's eye, and we've been riding this thing all the way. We've got a substantial position, which is why we're talking about it today. It's not a client; it's just a company that we find really interesting. And over the last 9 months, that's been borne out.
Very good. So are you dropping some of my money on top of it at this rate, at this price?
In acknowledging the conflict that I was in there at 80 cents, yeah, I'd be throwing your money in on top.
All right, TK, that disclaimer aside, now provided that, we have a vested interest company in this company. As a person, what are you doing with my cash?
So the only thing I like watching with companies that are like in their situation is management's position and how they speak about what their near-term objectives are. So if you look in their report, they talk about the near-term revenue generation would depend largely on the ability of the company to generate sales from its energy saving paint segment, or to a lesser extent, to its ability to monetize the advanced research that it does. And if they're over time able to meet those goals, it's definitely something that you put on a watch list and you monitor as they continue to make those strategic goals, as they continue to meet those strategic goals.
Right. So you're hanging, you're just chilling.
Yeah, waiting.
Michelle, what are you doing?
I think it's important too that we should mention that the management are a lot of the management executives are ex-Shell, Royal Dutch Shell executives. So they've been in the oil, the energy business. They know what they're doing, and of course, we all know about Royal Dutch Shell. I find it very interesting as well. I do like the green tech play there. Earlier on, I mentioned natural gas thing. I just want to sort of clarify that, maybe see if it's still a low-cost producer to make this graphene, like depending on the price of natural gas nowadays. But I think, yeah, this is definitely, I wouldn't say this is a trade at all. This is one that you sit on, and it is definitely a long-term play. I like this chart as well. It is getting a lot of volume, a lot of interest. Personally, I'll just wait for the break above 250 here, and then the triangle is basically triggered, and I would put some money to work on GMG.
All right. Well, I'm thinking that Chris should probably just sell just a wee bit of that stock and take the entire Equity.Guru Investor Roundtable crew out for a huge lunch and invite along some of the Playgon dealers from the earth.
Yogurt jobs. That's enough.
Buy some ginger beef shares.
Buy some ginger beef. Hey, ginger beef is up since we talked about it.
Yeah, I thought that was you buying the shares. There's 1,000 shares traded.
All right, folks, there you go. Do your own research. Past performance does not guarantee, does not guarantee future performance. I guess the simplest way to put it, nor is the performance that we've experienced or what we've told you. So you do a little bit of your own research or do a lot of it and then make your own investment decisions. Please, we make no guarantees. For Vishal and TK and Chris, I'm Rob. See you on the next Equity Guru. Excuse me, we're all losing our voice. We'll see you on the next Equity Guru Investor Roundtable.